All right, we are back with another episode. We've got Lauren and Josh Emilian and me. And I'm going to start with Josh's topic first. What the heck is Kid Nation?
I'm surprised you don't know because you watched the Dark Side of Kids TV show, and there's an entire episode on this show. Uh, this was a 2007 show on CBS where they took a bunch of kids, 40 of them, and took them out to a ghost town in the middle of the desert, and they had to be themselves, figure out themselves, elect leaders, figure out religion, figure out education, figure out schooling. Um, the premise was, can kids build a better society without the stupidity that adults have, or the pettiness that adults have? There are some problems with this show in that they don't get paid for the work that they do. They get paid based on a challenge that they do every couple of days. They're only there for 40 days, so there's not really enough time to establish who's really a leader and who's not. Um, every single episode, they do this thing where the city council gets to decide which kid earns a $20,000 real gold star. Um, and I actually found that really effective because the kids are between 8 and 15. They don't really comprehend the money. They just comprehend, oh, that's a lot. And so they're not overtaken by greed for it. But at the same time, it's enough of an incentive that they still want to work hard for the town without actually comprehending that, like, $20,000 is quite a bit of money. Um, and, like, it's very apparent because the guy gives out the gold star and they're like, what are you going to do with it? And he's like, oh, I'm going to pay for school. And I'm like, maybe a semester. uh, but at the same time, they're like, all these different things. This show is thought of as one of like the worst shows that's ever been, uh, because like there are adults there, but they never intervene. Um, the kids washed their dishes one night with bleach. So like a bunch of kids got bleach poisoning, and like the film crew did not intervene at all. They literally just watched it happen. One kid was crying because he was missed his mom and whatever, and so the film crew just sat there and watched him, and he was like 8. So the show had a ton of backlash, and it only lasted one season because of it. Um, there's also a lot of backlash because it doesn't really show a society because the way that the kids are paid are based on a class system, and the class is based on which district. The kids are divided up into 4 districts, and it's all just like the team that does the best in the challenge gets to be the top tier, which means they have no responsibilities. The tier below them, they run the shops, and the tier below them, they're the cooks, and the tier below them does everything else. They clean the bathrooms, they pick up trash, they do everything else. So it's not really like, hey, you did this job, it's worth this money. It's your team did well in this challenge, here's your money. These are your responsibilities because of it. Um, so there's like child labor issues because these kids had to haul water like a mile and a half into town every day and do all of these things. And it's not at all even because there's a 15-year-old, 14-year-old that are very clearly the strongest two. But because they're very clearly the strongest two, they do really well in the challenges. So they're never the bottom crew who does the physical work. And the
Oh.
people who do the physical work end up being the 8, 9, 10 year olds who are little and they don't really comprehend what's going on and all this kinds of stuff. Um, so it did receive a ton of backlash, and I do agree that they did some really messed up stuff in the show. I still found it absolutely fascinating. Um, for me, it was a giant psychology experiment on things that are natural, like greed and when they pop up, um, and things that are not natural, that are kind of like forced because of pettiness and more adult inset problems. Um, I watched a video afterwards that was like, "Where are the kids now?" And I found it very funny because they would always be like, "Oh, this person's gone to school, this person's doing this," and then they'd be like a minority person that was on the show, and they'd be like, "And they're a doctor, space engineer." And then they'd be like, "And this was the kid from Tennessee, and he was last known to be working at a gas station." And then they kind of build back up to like the impressive, Asian kid who's like a big tech giant guy. And then they're like, "And then this guy was working at Walmart last week." So I found that really, really funny. That like most of them became very successful people, and a few of them weren't, and it was always just like the most hickish kid. um, that was like, "And this kid worked at Walmart that we last know, but nobody really knows currently, and this one worked at a gas station, and this one, so just kind of funny stuff like that." None of the kids have any resentment for the show. They all think it was a good experience. Some of them remain friends afterwards, which is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I just found it so fascinating to watch the behaviors and um, how the gold star affected it. Because if you were on the city council, you couldn't earn one because that would mean voting for yourself, and so you couldn't really do it. And so they do all this stuff, and then they do have challenges each and every episode where they're like, you have to figure out if you want religion to be a part of your society or if you want it to be an individual practice and everybody kind of does their own thing. Do you want to hold meetings and stuff? Do you want to have school and education? Do you want to have this, that, and the other? Um, the other really cool thing was part of the challenge was if every group completes the challenge within a certain amount of time, there's a big prize that the entire town gets to benefit from. And it's like a microwave that you can use in the kitchen. More
Cool.
outhouses, because in the first episode they only have one. So, spoiler alert, when they get that one, they pick to have more because 40 people plus TV crew is a lot to be using just one outhouse. Pizza, dune buggies, and a room with arcade games. Just tons of stuff. So everybody was rewarded if they still tried, um, which I did really, really like. Um, my outcome of this show is I would love to see a similar show, but not with kids. I would love for them to do like a season where they're like, we're going to take a bunch of different religions and they're going to be the different districts.
That'd be
Or
cool.
we're going to take Republicans and Democrats and Libertarians and unidentifieds, and they're each going to have their own town competing against each other to see which one becomes the most successful. Um, I found it very, very fascinating. Uh, I think the reaction to it was a little excessive, though I do agree this show probably shouldn't have been on air, but it was still super, super fascinating. And I was absolutely sucked in and binge watched the entire season because it was just so like this is probably my favorite reality show. Conlon, I think you'd get really into it too. Um,
I probably would. It sounds interesting.
Very Survivor esque, but with kids, and it's super fascinating to see the choices kids make, the choices that they don't make because they just don't know this thing or the other. Um, like I said, there is some messed up stuff. I think the most messed up stuff is the contracts that the kids got. Basically, it waived any liability if the kids got hurt, which some of them did. They spilt oil on themselves and burned themselves. Um, it waived liability for the showrunners if the 15-year-olds did stuff with the other minors. So if any kid came back pregnant or with STDs, the show was not
That
responsible for
is
that.
crazy.
And like I said, they had 15-year-olds, so that was a big Like, what were they even thinking sending their kids when that was in the contract kind of stuff?
No, that's
So, like I said, not morally okay. The guy who runs it is a big fan of the Flies book with the kids and the experiment.
okay.
I haven't read the book, but
Lord
it's
of the Flies.
Very
Lord of the
famous.
Flies. Yeah, he was a big fan of the book. The show's compared to it all the time. Um, it is super messed up for sure, um, but still very very fascinating. I saw one YouTuber break it down from this shit. This show went from a weird idea to some positive feedback when it was tested to complete outcry to shut down, and then they did the dark side of kids TV show, and they were like, and it was even more hated and forgotten, and now it's a cult classic because there's just a ton of fans from the show who will reach out to the kids and be like, hey, what were you doing when this thing happened, or how did you really feel when you got that gold star, or did you really comprehend what 20 grand was in 2007, and like all this kinds of stuff.
And it's 2007. 20 grand is
Yeah.
that's so much more
Yeah,
than it
today
is
it's
now.
like, hey, that would be kind of a lot for or a big portion of a down payment of house. But I was like, that would have been more than enough for a down payment on a house back then. Like,
Just wild.
yeah. And then they gave three $50,000 ones away at the very end. Though, again, I wish it was a little different because it was still the city council that gave it away. I think the city council should have given one of the big ones away, and two of them should have been given away by the showrunners to be like, hey, these are the people that we think earned it as people who were here. But, oh well. That's where I'll leave it. I thought it was really fascinating, and I could not stop watching it. But I can also acknowledge this probably shouldn't have existed. So, that's.
But it's
that's where
cool
we're
that
at.
it does exist because, like, I don't know. I like things that are unique. That is definitely unique. For sure.
Yeah. There's this little girl who's like this absolute tyrant from the very beginning, and she's my favorite character.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
You just like those tyrants, Josh.
It's just so funny to see her deal with stuff because she's brought in as one of the first city council members. So like, I wish they would have done that differently too. So they're called pioneers. So they all arrive on this bus, get kicked off. The bus drives away, and then they have to pull wagons to the town. And it's like, that should have been the first trial where you kind of figured out the leaders and then elected the leaders. But the showrunners just picked 4 leaders to begin with. And then after the pioneers had done their thing, they were flown in on helicopters, and just the kids were told, these are your leaders. And it's like, okay, the pioneer poll should have been the thing, and then they should have had the election to pick their first leaders, not just be given their first leaders. But again, not a perfect show at all, but absolutely fascinating.
What was your rating?
I will rate it like a 8 out of 10. Just because I was so engrossed in it and found it so fascinating. And like, things happen in the show, and you're like, that's just basic nature, isn't it? Like, oftentimes adults are picked on and told that, like, hey, you learned that behavior. But these are kids, and they just kind of do it. So is it really kind of a learned behavior, or isn't it? So it was absolutely fascinating for that reason to me.
Very cool. Pause 1 second, guys. Trying to figure out a. That sounds super interesting to me, and I would totally watch that.
It's all on YouTube.
Super unique.
For free.
That's a
anybody
super
can watch
unique
it.
show.
Yeah.
And I would be interested in watching that. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Lauren, Tower Heist. What is Tower Heist?
So it's about. I'm trying to think of who the main character is. Um, who plays Night in Museum, dude?
Ben
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 Stiller.
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 So Ben Stiller is the main character, and he knows this. Like he's the hotel manager. He knows everybody who lives. They call it like it's the tower. So like people live here, but they call him the hotel manager, but it's not a hotel. Um, it's like these apartments, and these rich people live there, and he gets one of their people. They find out. Um, like gets arrested for fraud, and he's like, oh well, he's been holding our pension account, and he finds out that that dude had like taken their pensions, and so no one who worked at the tower had their pensions anymore. And so he gets angry, goes up to this guy's apartment and beats up his this car that he had like built into his apartment, because like he had to like take it piece by piece into the apartment and rebuild it so it would be in his apartment. And he starts beating on that, and like out of frustration, so he loses his job, and then all of like his friends lose their jobs for like being up there with him. And then like the FBI are there, and they're like letting like Stiller's character is kind of like dating the FBI girl, because she thought it was cool that he beat up the guy's car, so she like takes him out to get a drink. And then she's like, hey, just letting you know he's gonna press charges on you for wrecking the car, and unless you apologize. So he goes and apologizes, and then the guy decides to press charges anyway. And so Ben Stiller's trying to get this team together, because they're like, well, we know he took out 20 million from his accounts to hide it somewhere. So he has 20 million somewhere in his apartment, and we need to figure out where it is. So they figure out where the safe is going to be. He gets his little elite team, and they find a way into the guy's apartment, open up the safe, realize there's nothing in the safe, and then he's like, where did he hide the money? And then he like looks at the car. I think somebody like tries to shoot somebody and ends up shooting the car, and it like scratches the paint, and they realize that the car is just solid gold. So now they know they're like running against the time of trying to get the car out of the apartment before the person comes up to the apartment and sees them stealing from him. And so somehow they get the car out of the apartment, and the police are like, okay, you need to like tell us where you put this car, like where did you get it? And so Ben Stiller's like, well, I'll sign a deal if like we get immunity, I'll tell you. And they're like, well, we'll only have like uh sign one of you. We'll only have Ben Stiller go to jail, and the rest of you will walk free. And they had put his car in the pool, in the rich guy's pool, and then just put the cover over the pool. And I was remember watching this as a kid with my dad, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. And then I was like, that would never have worked now, because it like ends with the three that get to walk like uncovering the pool, and they're like hallelujah or whatever, and I'm like, that's yeah, because I had the same thing. I was like, what? It was so dumb. I do like these little heist shows. Like I like heist movies where they have like the plan, and there's like a little twist of how they were able to like pull it off. I love those type of things. So like I like Ready, not Ready or Not.
Yeah, you
I
love
think that
that
was a
movie.
Freudian slip, and you actually did like
I love Ready or Not.
You
No,
convinced her.
no. The Now You See Me movies, and I really like Ocean's 11, stuff like that. I like movies like that where it's just like so satisfactory of like everybody doing their jobs to like lead up to
heist.
yeah. But this one was probably my least favorite heist movie I've seen. Um, I enjoyed watching it. Now that I've watched it again and realized that I had actually seen it before, I don't have any need to ever watch this movie again. um, but yeah, I'm not mad that I watched it. I'd probably give it like a 6, because I would watch it over Black Panther. I think if you like heist movies and you like Ben Stiller, you'll like this. It has Eddie Murphy in it too, which was a choice.
This
What if you like
cast
heist
is
music but
freaking
don't like
stacked.
Ben Stiller?
Um, Actually, I
That's a
don't think
great
that this
question.
is a very Ben Stillery movie. Like, Ben Stiller doesn't feel like Ben Stiller in this one. He
That's a good
actually
one.
is more of a, because like first he's like this character that is has to have everything done perfectly. He has everything down. He's running this tower, and then he kind of becomes vengeful after that, like kind of angry and stuff. And it's not very Ben Stiller, because I would say a Ben Stiller movie is like him being this kind of weird, quirky guy that doesn't fit in the world, and that's not really what this movie is. So, if you didn't like Ben Stiller, I would still give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah, the cast is super stacked. Like,
Yeah.
got Eddie Murphy, Ben Stiller, Casey Affleck, Alan Alda, Matthew Broderick, Michael Pena. I don't know how to say them. But dude, like, that's wild. I'm sorry that you didn't like it that much. I really like everything about what I'm seeing about this movie except for Michael or Ben Stiller. So
I mean, like,
not my favorite.
it's pretty good. Like I said, I'm not mad that I watched it, but out of all the heist movies out there, I wouldn't be like, this is a must see, you know?
What's your favorite heist movie?
Born Identity. No, I'm just kidding.
Like off the top of my head, I really do like the actually, does the Prestige count?
I don't think so.
Okay, then not that one. Then it would be like the Now You See Me's. I really like those ones.
Cool.
I'm
I'd
excited.
put
to get
Oceans
there.
above that just because the ending of the first Now You See Me.
I'm trying to remember what that one is. Is that
They
where
go
they?
to the carnival and then they're like, but magic really is real at the end. So I was like, what the hell?
Oh, I think
Yeah.
that one's. Isn't that the second one?
That's the first one.
Oh, well, yeah.
What's your favorite one, Josh?
Heist movie? Off the top of my head, I would say Oceans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's Sneakers. Probably. I really like Sneakers. Or if the gambling one, I love this movie.
21.
If it counts, where he's counting cards.
21.
Does that one count?
Not a heist movie.
Okay, I love that movie. I love that movie. And
I
Baby
like that movie a lot,
Driver.
too.
I also really, really like Baby Driver.
Oh, I forgot about Baby Driver's my favorite. I love Baby Driver.
Baby Driver's a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to our next one. It'll be my first topic, which I actually don't have that much to say. I know what you did last summer, the requel number 2 that just came out. This movie is just not as good as the first one. And if you watched the first one, you don't need to watch this movie. They include the cast of the old movie in this one, and it adds absolutely nothing, in my opinion, and makes the movie dumber. Because they have to make the original cast meaningful in some way. If they were just like little cameos or whatever, it'd be fine. But the way that they incorporate the old cast into this movie to make them meaningful is just not, it's just not good. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. They if something that traumatic happens to you, move to a different place. Like just get out of there. Don't stay. I don't know why you would stay. And then you don't do what you do in this movie that doesn't make any sense. I won't get into it in case somebody wants to watch it. It's a fairly new movie, but all of the all of the intensity that you get from the killer in this movie is better in the first one. I I guess if you want to look at pretty girls, they're no Jennifer Love Hewitt's in the first one. The first one is just a better movie. The first one is just a better movie in every single way. The killer is more satisfying. The people are less annoying. This is just a mediocre movie. It was not that great. And I kind of got bored as I was going through it. The twist at the end for who the killer is not satisfying at all because it has partly to do with the old cast. It's just not very good. It's not terrible, but it's just not very good. It's a 3, 4, somewhere in that range. I'll give it a 3.5, but it's not worth your time. Nothing crazy about this one. Now let's go to a different haunted movie that is fantastic. Phantom of the Opera. I've never seen the movie version of this, and it is very, very good. I still like the theater version better. I think this translates to a theater more effectively. But this is about as good as they could have possibly done to translate a theater experience to a movie and have it be compelling, especially with a story that is as bizarre as Phantom of the Opera can be. Gerard Butler is ridiculously good, and I don't know why he doesn't do more stuff like this or even go actually get on theater because he's great. The girl who plays Christine isn't as good as the original Christine, but she's probably my second favorite, which is wild. The only negative I really have about this version is the Raoul. I don't think is nearly as good as other Raouls. He's not horrible. He does a good job, but I don't think he's even close. Which is unfortunate because you have two really, really strong like pillars, and then your other pillar I feel like is a little weak. But otherwise, it's really well done. Like the story is conveyed well. The set pieces are absolutely beautiful. The dances are great. The music is really is epic. It's very well put together. It's just it's a good movie. And I didn't watch this because when it first came out, I was in elementary school, and that was somewhere right around there. And every single girl in my class was obsessed with this movie. And they played the songs over and over again. And I thought it sucked. And I was lame. I thought it was lame. I was like, why won't they stop playing this stupid thing over and over again? I wasn't into musicals at all at the time. I got to where I started getting into musicals when I was in high school. And just never really got back to this movie. Even though I got to the point where I really appreciate the music and I appreciate the story that they're putting forth in Phantom of the Opera. This movie it's really good. It's really well done. What did you think, Josh?
So this was a Conlon and I shared topic this week. It's a movie that we have talked about before, but I was surprised he had never actually seen. I am a little bit different, but pretty much the same story as Conlon. I just thought musicals in general were for women and gay people, and so I was not a woman or a gay kid, so I wasn't gonna like musicals. So I intentionally separated myself every time I could from a musical, and that was not right because I do think that a number of these I would have enjoyed even as a kid. It was just I was closed minded, and it took a very long time for me to actually give it a chance, and it didn't become because of that, but it was just like it wasn't my thing. I wasn't really into it. I didn't like them. But this was one of the first ones that brought me into it. My very first one was Into the Woods, where I saw a stage version at my college that was really good, and I was like, oh, I really liked that. and then I was introduced to Les Mis, and then this one. Um, I think Conlon is mostly right about everything that he says. I think it is absolutely amazing that everybody is the actual performer except Minnie Driver. And it's not because Minnie Driver couldn't do it, it was she thought her voice teacher was just better and she wanted it to be the best it could be. So she voiced over with her vocal coach, which is cool.
That's cool.
An actress is just saying, like, nope, this is better. You want me to play and do? That's great. It's her voice. She's the right voice for it. Um, and that is incredibly incredible. It wasn't long ago that I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw multiple people posting their lists of like actors you didn't know could sing very well. And like the two most surprising ones to me are both all the lists that I saw had Hugh Jackman on it and I was like, I'm not a Hugh Jackman singing fan. I don't think he's a very good singer. But like he did Greatest Showman. Like
Everyone
people are
knows this at this point.
surprised. Like I don't buy that on your list. He did Les Mis too. Like I think he sucked in Les Mis, but he was still the third best performer in Les Mis. And then the other person who was on this list is Christine. Emmy Rossum was like number 2 on all these people's lists. And I was like, Phantom of the Opera is huge. How would you be surprised that she can sing after this movie? I think she's spectacular.
Great.
I think Gerard Butler is spectacular. I think Patrick Wilson is spectacular. I think Minnie Driver is spectacular. I think everybody is absolutely perfect in this movie. Everybody is the perfect casting, and I don't think anybody could have done it better. I while I was watching it, I had two kind of thoughts. My first one was I was amazed at the callbacks. There's specifically a line that both um, Raoul and the Phantom sing. Um, the Phantom overhears Raoul sing it on the roof, and then he sings it to her when she's in the dungeon the second time. And like, it was amazing to me that when Raoul sang those lines, he said it out of love and admiration. And when the Phantom did it, he was begging and pleading. Same words, same tune, two different performers, and yet it still came across with "Let me love you forever and ever." And then when the Phantom sing it, he's like, "Please let me." You know, it's begging, it's pleading, it's more rough, and there are probably actors who could have done as good of a job, I'm sure. I think very highly of Broadway performers, especially those who make their name on Broadway.
Big deal.
And I thought Conlon was going to come back and be like, do you think that these are Broadway performers? Because they're not any better than Hugh Jackman. That was my prediction.
Really? No, I don't think that.
But like,
maybe I think that about Patrick. I don't know.
I don't think that about Patrick. I think he does an exceptional job. I think he's the right face for the role.
He has the right face for the role. I will give that.
He performs it extremely well, and I think he is a good enough singer to get it through. So, like, I would concede that, yeah, maybe there's somebody who could do as good of a job. I'm not sure about better on this one, just because to me this is iconic for a reason. Everybody in it is just perfect. Everybody commits to the role and does it extremely well. With the most surprising one being Gerard Butler, because like, why doesn't he sing better more after
I don't know.
This movie?
Why didn't they cast him as not Joubert, the captain?
I don't know.
I don't know. He would have been great. He would have been
I
so
don't know if he would have
freaking
been
good.
great, but he would have been better than Russell Crowe, that's for sure. This is one of my favorite musicals. It's not my favorite, but the only reason it's not my favorite is because of personal reasons. Like I just personally connect to um, Dear Evan Hansen a little bit better, and I have a personal connection to Into the Woods because it was my first, and I have a personal connection to Les Mis because of how much I watched it and because of how important that came to me outside of just the play itself. Um, I absolutely love this movie. This is a perfect October watch. This is a fantastic musical. I have not had the pleasure to see it on stage. I think that would be an exceptional experience.
It's amazing.
Again, I don't know if I would say it's better because this is already just so good. It would be a different experience. It would be worthwhile. I would go. I would wager I would watch this yearly on stage if I could.
I would too. I was prepared to not like this as much because I went to the West End, and for people who aren't in theater, like Broadway and West End are your top theaters in the world. And we saw this there, and I was blown away. There's a part where they're rowing on the stage, and it is insane. Like, it is so cool. The performance is spectacular, and it is better than this. But that's what I was comparing it to, and this was good. Like, I'm surprised, genuinely surprised at how much I like this. 'Cause I was comparing it to like the best.
My only criticism for this movie is I don't understand the women who are pro the Phantom.
There's a
And
lot.
it's not something I've heard since middle school, but like there were a number of middle school girls in my life who were pro Phantom and anti Raoul. And I didn't know at the time, so I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Kind of creepy that he hides in a wall, but that's all I really know about it. Like, who am I to judge? I like Beauty and the Beast, like whatever. That's weird. And I think back to that and I'm like, yeah, I don't know anybody who could watch this movie and be like, she should have went with the Phantom and not Raoul. No, Raoul is a stud of a guy. He is a stand-up person. He is willing to die for her, and she's like, I want the one who hid in the wall and groomed her since she was a little girl.
She's raising her hand. I think we got some Lauren advice on why you're wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Oh,
I was a Phantom girl, but I was like when I was younger, and I think that's just kind of goes for like I'm very much an empath and things, and like I felt for the Phantom of like when he's like you learn about like his backstory. I'm like, oh, he's just misunderstood, and Gerard's
And
really
he's
good at
Gerard
singing.
Butler.
Yeah, it is Gerard
And
Butler.
he's Gerard Butler. Like,
And it was so funny to credit my mom because I was obsessed with this movie. My mom asked me, she's like, "Oh, so Phantom or Raoul?" And I was like, "Phantom all the way." And she's like, "Okay, explain why." And then I'd be like, and I was like, "Oh well, it's not his fault that he's like his face is that way and people like treating him all this bad." And then my mom was like, okay, but what about the things that he has done, like murder people and and so like to her credit she like pointed out these things to me and I was like, oh. I was like, I get it now. And like I am now like Raoul, like I because like it is kind of like little rose colored glasses because like which is why I think the Phantom is so good because you do have these people be like going after the Phantom, and it's like it shows you what type of like personalities will gravitate towards, and people will wonder why people are in abusive relationships and things like that. They don't really take every like they excuse everything else because of this like one thing, and they're like, oh, but I can save him or whatever mentality, and then like yeah, but ever like I rewatched it after my mom had like that conversation with me, and I was like, I don't know why I was so mad at Raoul before. I was just mad that he was getting in between her and the Phantom. And then when I rewatched it after my mom like pointed that out to me, I was like, yeah, no, Raoul is like a good dude. He's solid. But yeah, anyway, so
so
there's my little
why?
tidbits.
I get why you loved both of you love this because it's great. Why is it so high on your list, Josh? Because this, I love Phantom. I think Phantom's fantastic. It would not be my number two. I don't know if it'd make my top five. To be completely honest, it would probably be in the top 10.
It's barely around 5 for me.
Oh,
So I've got Dear Evan Hansen, Into the Woods, Les Mis, Singing in the Rain, and are we counting like non-traditional musicals,
yeah.
like animated ones like Beauty and the Beast?
I would
You
say
know,
like stage production musical. So if you like the stage production of like Lion King
okay,
or
so if we're
something,
staying in just stage production, then yeah, it's probably right around 5.
okay,
Um,
okay,
so it's just perfect. Like it's a compelling story. All of the characters are great. Even the villain, you have genuine pity for. He's done so well. You're like, I feel bad for him in the way he was treated, but I still don't approve for him killing people. Just like Lauren was saying, like you can feel that pity for him. You can understand that kind of stuff. The only person I don't understand is Christine's friend and her just want to be wanted by the Phantom through the movie. You're like, shouldn't you be like, this guy's maybe a little bit creepy? Maybe.
maybe just a
No?
little bit creepy.
Yeah. You know? Yeah,
I
you know?
took that as like her mentor was the Phantom's friend, and so she knew a side of the Phantom that not everybody else did. And so I was taking it as her trying to prove to everybody that he's that version that
But she doesn't know the
she
Phantom.
knows. She doesn't know him personally, but she wants to because she's heard stories from her
Christine,
mentor and her mentor,
her
who is
mother.
friends. Is it her
That's her
mom?
mother. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the other crazy part is like, so Christine is orphaned, so her friend, the mom, takes her in and raises her in the theater and teaches her ballet and how to sing and all that kind of stuff. So like I don't understand that family because like the mom is like obsessed with the Phantom. And to me it's because the mom is obsessed with the Phantom, the girl wants the Phantom's attention, but Christine gets it. And so it's like this is really not okay. Like talk
Yeah.
going back to Ready or Not. Maybe you should not you should realize how normal that feels and realize that that's bad. That's how normal it feels. But yeah, it's just really good. That's why it's so high on my list. All of the songs are great. So many musicals are like, oh, I really like this song, or I
For
really
this one,
like
all
this
of them
song, but
are great.
not this one. All of them are good. And like I said in what I was talking about before, they have callbacks to previous lyrics, but the way that they're conveyed to other characters changes their meaning so much. Um, and it's done brilliantly. I only have one real, genuine criticism of the movie, and that
What's
is
that?
the sequel. And it's one that I actually just get to ignore, which is great. I don't even have to acknowledge it or think about it. And it's not like Star Wars where it ruins it and I can't not think about it. I just,
The second one is so bad it feels like a parody.
That's people have called it his own fan fiction to this.
That's what it
well,
feels
it's
like.
just, it's gross what he does to Raoul. It's gross what he does to the Phantom. And it's gross what he does to Christine. It's like they're not even the same people.
Yeah.
But because they're not the same people, I don't get to pretend like they're the same people. I just get to be like, yeah, that doesn't even exist. I don't have to do it.
It's not real.
Listen to the Phantom. Okay, Colin, what would you rate Phantom on a scale of 1 to 10?
I want to give it an 8.5.
Okay. That's a
That's what I want to do.
fair rating.
What about you?
10.
Okay. Okay.
Like I said, I don't have any real complaints. I think all the performers are as good as you could get. and it's a film version, and we don't always get that treatment. Like,
Very
play
rarely.
to film adaptation. What is the best one? I think there
Probably.
are two in the conversation.
What's the other one?
Wicked.
Wicked is very good. Wicked is very good.
It is.
I think this one is better. I think The King and I is also quite good, to be honest.
Live action or animated?
Actually, both of them are quite good. Are there any others? Oh, what is the Romeo and Juliet, but better. They've done it twice. That was also quite good, but this is
Sound
better
of
than that one.
Music?
What?
Sound of Music?
No, I fell in love with a girl named Maria. Maria.
West Side Story.
West Side Story. That one is also really good, but Phantom is better. Probably that one's close.
I don't think West Side deserves to be in the conversation.
Okay, I really like that one.
I think that is very much what we were talking about. They have some really good songs and some not very good songs.
Oh, this is probably the best one, but we'll see how
stage to
the second
movie.
Phantom goes, or the second Wicked
We'll
goes,
yeah.
because it could be better. Wicked is very good.
Yeah, those are my only two that belong in the conversation. I haven't seen The King and I, any version of it, so I can't speak to it. But like any other argument, like if somebody come up to me and told me it was Les Mis, I'd be like, "You are wrong. You are just wrong.
Not better.
The movie is bad." So, Into
Dear
the
Evan
Woods.
Hansen
Movie
is
is
bad.
bad. Movie is bad. Dear
Hansen's
Evan Hansen. Cats is just bad. Rent is just bad. So this one is so good.
Sound of Music was, I think, a movie first, even though I still haven't watched it. I
haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I don't know. Moulin Rouge, I do enjoy a lot.
I think that's another movie to stage, but I could be wrong on that one.
That one's one I'm not positive either. Okay.
But yes, cool. that one's also good. But I would still put this one above that, even if it is.
Was Singing in the Rain a musical first?
I don't know.
That would be in the conversation for me.
It wouldn't because of the dream sequence.
That's true. That sequence
that
really
takes
bad.
It out of it.
That makes this better. Oh, okay.
So, this is a very special movie. It is a one of one. Wicked could be in the conversation. We'll see part 2 later this year. Even if it is in the conversation, I would say this one's mine. But if you said Wicked, I accept that. I don't see Wicked beating it for me personally, but I would accept it.
If Wicked 2 lands, it would probably beat it for me, but I'm not going to give it off the first movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, well, with that,
let's
hold on,
go. Lauren, what's your rating? You didn't watch it.
Yeah, you've seen this. You've seen this a million times.
Yeah.
10.
Boom.
Okay.
2 votes, 10.
Not an 11 for you?
5.
What?
Right.
Not an 11 for you?
I mean, if we're going that, I'm at 20. I love The Phantom.
Where does it fall in your musicals?
It's my favorite.
Okay.
What would be your second?
Probably. I'm kind of have a really similar listing as Josh. So it's Phantom of the Opera, then Into the Woods, then Les Mis, and then I really don't care after that.
Oh, okay.
Same 2 and 3.
Sounds good.
Those are the ones that I've are the only ones that I've ever been obsessed with. So,
have you ever watched Dear Evan Hansen or listened to it?
Oh, I had I dated somebody who was super into it. I don't think that I've seen any of it.
That's so good. I would get a slime tutorial of that one. It's so good. All right, with that, let's go to our final topic, our shared topic, Casper the Friendly Ghost. I can go first on this one. I was delightfully surprised. I watched this a ton when I was a kid, and I was like, I'm going to be nostalgic for it, but it's just going to be kind of a pretty good movie. I think this is a very, very good movie that holds up way better than it should. Casper is incredibly charming. The family, the guy being like a therapist for ghosts is just a genius idea. The uncles being this, they're just rude ghosts. They're not like evil. They're just rude assholes. And I love it. The part where he pretends to be his wife is honestly a little cringy, but it just made me laugh for some reason. It's like right on the line of being too much, but it works just barely. Like it could have been bad, but it works just barely. The one thing that didn't work for me is like machine that brings you back to life thing. I think that would have worked a lot better in a cartoon setting where you have the live action. It becomes a little less believable and not quite as it just doesn't work quite as well. But that's kind of it. I like the sweet little romance, even though it's really stupid and it's a one night thing. And it's like if you take yourself out of the movie and you're thinking about it, like they're 15 and her first kiss was with a ghost guy, and this is weird and it's cringy. But I don't even care because I'm watching the movie and I'm buying it and I'm having a good time. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I still enjoyed this movie. Because I kind of thought I'd be like, it's fine. But nope, I really, really liked it. And would probably give like a 7.5. I debated even higher than that. But I think that's fair. All right. Josh, let's go with you next.
I think you said it all. I didn't like it quite as much as you. I was going to give it a 6.5 with a 1 point boost because almost a year ago to the day, a year and like 2 weeks, I was sitting on Lauren's couch while she was watching this and I was roasting it. So I have that personal memory, so it gets a point for that, and that bumps me to a 7.5.
Okay. Solid.
I forgot about that.
Like I think it's a little bit more cringy than you did. I thought the jokes weren't super as great. I agree it would have worked better animated. I think some things work really well in it. I think that surprisingly, the special effects look really good and hold up today.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't think the movie as a whole does as much. But like I said, I had the super special memory of me sitting on the couch. Lauren was making steak for us to eat before games or something.
Oh yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, oh no, you made me eat that like garbage French toast. And I was sitting there like, just making fun of it. So it gets a point for that personal memory. It's also one I watched a lot as a kid, but I didn't have any like nostalgic love for it. Because I have gone so long without rewatching it. So
My grandma, when my dad was 5 years old, my grandma got into a terrible, terrible car accident. He was in the car. Yeah, my dad actually got thrown from the car. It was like a bad, bad accident. And my grandma was in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. It was millions of dollars of hospital bills. She was supposed to die in 2 years. She lasted 20. But she was in her bed for most of the time when I was a kid. And she would get in a wheelchair and she'd like pull us around in a little wagon and she would go and watch us. And one of the things that we would do is we'd go and we'd sit on the bed with grandma because it's what she just couldn't be up a lot. And we would watch movies. And this was one of those movies. So I thought the nostalgia aspect would hit me like a rock. But I didn't feel that quite as much, which surprised me. As a movie on its own, it was better than I was expecting, like I was saying earlier. Now, Lauren, give us that 11. tell us about your experience with this movie.
So I absolutely love this movie. I love the sets of this movie specifically.
Sets are awesome.
Yeah, the sets are awesome. So I disagree. I'm very glad this is live action because I love this set. I love all of. Yeah, Josh.
I am also glad it was live action. I just think Conlin's right, and the machine that brings it back to life might have worked better in animation. Just that
Yeah,
part.
it's just that
Just
part
that
for me
part.
too.
I am obsessed with the machine, like the little vials and things that they had to use to like put it into the machine and everything. Like I thought about that a lot as a kid. um, I love all the little inventions that they have throughout the movie of like making the breakfast, of them like getting when they're like sitting in the chair and it's getting him ready for the day. It was supposed to be for Casper's dad, but then you have like this girl going through it and it's like trying to like brush a beard that she doesn't have and like puts a little bow tie on her. Like I just thought that was like so cool and magical as a kid. And then you have like the story of Casper, and it's like I remember just like I didn't know where the quote came from. I thought it came from Casper, where he's like, "Come with me if you want to live." And like,
That's wild.
Yeah, so I thought that's where it came from as a kid, and you have Bill Pullman in there, so it's gonna be good. Love Bill Pullman. And I like the aspect of like the dad trying to talk to the uncles, and then you have her talking to Casper basically, and you get like these two different sides of ghosts. You have like the a-hole ghosts, and then you have just Casper, who's just a friendly ghost, and then you have the bad guys, Karen and I can't remember his name, but like it always, I thought it was so smart how they defeat her, where he's like, yeah, go get my treasure, and she like gets it and he's like, well, then you don't have any unfinished business, and so then she wasn't able to use the machine to get back because she already finished her unfinished business. And I thought that was like so genius when I was a kid of how they defeated her. And then like the choice to bring back the dad versus Casper too. Like as a kid, I'm like, I would never be able, like I wouldn't know how to make that choice. But like when Casper's like, no, you need your dad more than I need to be alive and like live a full life. And I loved that like choice. I liked it all. I like when the mom is able to like come down and like talk to the dad for a second. It's just like all the little fairy tale ending things that you want to happen in one movie, and it's just like, oh, so good and heartwarming. So yeah, it's just a nice little Halloween movie that makes you feel good after. So I give it an 8.
Solid.
I thought you'd give it a higher, honestly.
I did too.
I was thinking of like if I would give it a 9 or not, but I bumped it down just because like there are some aspects I don't like of like the Karen, and there's the part where the one guy's head twists around that I hate, and so I knocked it down.
My biggest negative of the movie is one I forgot until you mentioned the reference for Arnold Schwarzenegger. They make some 90s references that are like, they just make it feel old that I have never, I understood this time watching it that I've never understood before. Like the uncle talks about Marky Mark, he ain't no Marky Mark. And when I was a kid, I had no idea what the freak he was talking about. And now I know, but it's just an old reference that makes the movie feel kind of dated. And I wish they wouldn't have done as much of that, because why is a ghost going to say stuff like that? They're just not. That's probably my biggest negative of the movie. But otherwise, really enjoyable. Very, very charming. Just a good movie. Like, I bet a lot of people haven't seen this that are younger now, and you should. You should have your kids watch this movie. It's worth giving it a watch.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. And it's another one that I think was animated beforehand, but I like this movie better, even though I just talked about the animation. Probably because I have nostalgia for this movie. which makes me wonder even more what they're going to do with Disney live action, because I hope it doesn't kill the animated originals that are mostly better. But guys, that's going to be our episode. We appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And make tomorrow fantastic. Whatever that requires, make it great. We appreciate you. See you guys.